Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Silver's next move is going to be big, but which direction is it going to go? Up or down? Right now we see more of a bearish price range as stock markets breaking record highs and people are taking their money out of the world of precious metals, out of these markets, and moving them into that quicker dollar, that quicker flip, which is stock markets. Usually stock markets have more volatility, which is beneficial for precious metals, but right now, unfortunately, stocks are up, which makes precious metals go down. So this video is going to be talking about which way I think silver is going to be moving in the near future. Now, I just did make a chart analysis standpoint from it from Kitco News, sharing the support and resistance levels, the analytical standpoint. So if you want to check that out, I highly recommend it. It's my last video, but now I'm going to be sharing more of my own opinion, my own perspective on this matter. So the dollar index is still up as well, which is also going to be hurting precious metals prices for the near term. But this isn't something to be worried about. I think that precious metals have many more things influencing the prices than just stocks or the dollars, the dollar's strength at the moment. We also have the industrial demand for silver going to be pushing prices higher as supply is diminishing, but the demand is astonishingly high right now. I mean, silver's used for so many different things, and these are going to start coming into play. We're going to start seeing some of the consequences of these miners abandoning the mines, and we're really going to start seeing where silver can shine, pun intended. So I am curious. I want to make this video more for the viewer as well. I want you guys to really share where you guys think prices are headed ending the year 2019. I think that right now the biggest motivational influencer for silver's price is definitely going to be the supply and demand, but I do want to hear you guys share your input. I want this video to be more about you. I'm going to be asking you guys some questions, throwing some points of concern out there, just throwing some topics, and I really want the comment section to be filled with all of your opinions, your insight, your knowledge, and experience, because yes, I can make videos every single day, which I do, but sometimes it's really beneficial to hear from the community, some different points of view, some different angles, some different perspectives on the matter. So the first thing I want to talk about is, where do you think silver's price lies in the next couple months and why? What is going to be the motivational influencer? Is it the US-China trade negotiations? Is it the stock market volatility? Is it the supply and demand, the surplus? Is it the dollar index? Or is it something else? Is it the FOMC meetings, the interest rates getting cut? I'm really curious on where you guys think, from your standpoint, which is the biggest motivational pusher. But I also do want to mention, though, so the number two, I want you guys, because I made a 3-part video series on this, from gold and silver being in a bubble. I want you guys and gals to understand that these prices are being manipulated behind the scenes. But to what extent do you think these prices are really being moved behind the scenes? From the JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch spoofing acts, from these banks, from the Dutch bank doing the same types of things, manipulating these prices. How much of the price or these markets do you think are really being motivated or manipulated behind the scenes, and to what extent? And also, to add on top of that, what do you think silver's price naturally would be if this wasn't happening? If we could allow silver's price to naturally flurry on across these markets, do you think that the prices would be somewhat higher, or do you think that it still would be the same? I do want to mention, though, do you think this is a punishable crime? Do you think this should be illegal? Because a lot of people were opposing the judge's ruling, making it an actual punishable crime. So a lot of people were saying, well, real estate, you do the same thing. You spoof the price houses up. But I don't think it's anywhere near the same category, and it's definitely a completely different situation from doing it on an exchange with ill intent compared to housing markets. So another thing I want to bring up with you guys is the 2020 presidential election. This is one of the biggest influencers for silver's price in the near future that I could think of that could really push prices higher. Now, every 4 years we see this spike in silver prices, and it's because of the elections. I mean, not only do we see the controversy, but also when people fear banks or governments, but we also see all of the political side of it. News, people are more informed in the news, and if silver prices start gaining momentum from that point, who knows where it's going to go. I can almost guarantee that around that time, once everything starts getting thrown into the air, when people start getting more panicky, more, just uneasy, unsatisfied, this is really what it could push prices higher. You can see a single glimpse into this from the U.S.-China trade negotiations, but they are going to start phase one of the deal, so that could either be good or bad for prices. Now, next year, this is something looking a little forwards. Next year, do you think that these prices are going to hold after the election, or do you think that it would just be something like the U.S.-China trade negotiations, that after it kind of blows over, everything goes back to normal, quote unquote? And I say normal because a lot of these instances do get blown over pretty quick. The Iran tensions, the Hong Kong protests, Saudi Arabian oil fields getting bombed, interest rates barely put a mark on prices this, past couple months, and it does stuff does get blown over fairly quickly because the emotional attachment, people get into the news, the newest, freshest thing, and then once that blows over, they go to the next thing. And sometimes this can be a very overwhelming situation for the markets of precious metals. Now, I made an article, or I made a video talking about this article a couple months ago, and it was talking about how 99% of people that invest into precious metals invest into the ETF side of it, which shocked me because the main value that silver brings to the table is its physical bullion, the physical metal that's used for so many things across the platform and in our everyday world. So, for the ETF side of it, which stands for exchange traded funds, what do you think these markets would be if it was just physical? Like, let's say physical gold and silver was just physical, the physical bullion side, and everything else, stocks, comparing, cryptocurrency and options markets, futures contracts, those were separate. It was a completely separate market. So cutting off ETFs, they didn't exist. Physical bullion, do you think that these prices would be affecting each other, and to what extent? Because we can still get some correlating responses since the markets are essentially the same from the ETF, the SLV, all those SIL. But when you're looking at it from an outside perspective, theoretically, I really am curious if physical bullion could have a market of its own, and to what weight would it hold in a tradable market? I mean, I think it would be used more for SHTF bartering, coin collecting, but I do like to detach the ETF side of silver's market with some of these others, because it can be so easily kind of pushed in the same category as stocks, which I don't like, because silver and gold have so many more benefits and so much more value than just stocks, and I don't like those to be compared in the same category. So I would love to hear some of your input and insight on these questions and comments. I wanted to make this video more about you guys. I wanted you guys to shine. I wanted to hear your experience, your knowledge. I want to hear, because a lot of you guys have been stacking much longer than I do and know a lot of more information than I do. Like I said, this channel is basically just a platform for you guys to be able to communicate with each other. We all express our love for precious metals. We all discuss the same things and share our own personal opinions, and that can be very beneficial, allowing us to be more open-minded. And I definitely think that that can go a long way, especially if we do it under a respectable manner. Sometimes our opinions might not be the same. We might oppose different categories, different situations, but as long as we all have that one goal in the back of our mind, in our hearts, which is our love for precious metals and the beneficial factors we see, the fundamental value, then I think it's always going to be, one of the strongest communities. Obviously, there's always some bad weeds in the batch. Some people just are more negative than others, but it's okay. It's okay. You just don't mind them. Sometimes you don't know what they're going through. Maybe they're going through a divorce, a breakup, something bad at their job. Maybe their boss is being harsh. Who knows? Who knows what they're going through? So try to just be respectful, because everyone has stuff going on. That's life. So I try to just make my channel positive. I want you guys to all feel welcome here, be able to share whatever you want freely without feeling threatened or anything like that, because we all do have one common goal, and that is to stack precious metals. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I do appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you enjoy this, guys and gals, I always got to include the gals around, because a lot of you girls are, a strong part of this stacking community. Some of my favorite channels are actually some of the female stackers, like Lady Liberty Stacker, London Stacks, etc. So, anyways, I do thank you guys for tuning in. I cannot believe we reached 23,000 subscribers. It's absolutely incredible. To me, I cannot thank you guys enough. So if you do enjoy this video, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, because I do post daily videos. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.